it's been going on for a few months now, if not even years. I mean, Barcelona have been in decline really for the last 2 or 3 years from being the team that everyone remembers, that iconic side under Pep Guardiola at the end of the last decade. And the last sort of few years, they haven't really been the kind of force that they were. Messi was very much the driving force of the team, carrying the side really beyond what perhaps the other players were able to do. But this season, everything came crashing down. They for the first time in 12 years, they didn't win a single trophy in the season. They lost the La Liga to Real Madrid. They went out of the Champions League again, and it wasn't just the fact they went out, it was how they went out. They lost 8-2 to Bayern Munich, which was a historic defeat for the club. And also, as ever at Barcelona, there's a very much a political element to all this. Messi's very disillusioned with the board, with the leadership, with the president of the club. He feels the direction the team now is going is that they're going backwards, not forwards, and he's taken this huge, seismic and shocking decision to leave the club that he's been at for almost 2 decades.
Lionel Messi is one of the biggest names in football. For those who may not know, just put into context for us how big a superstar he is and how huge a loss this is for Barcelona.
Well, I mean, there are 2 elements to this really. On the kind of football world stage, Messi is arguably the greatest player of all time. I mean, some people would debate that with you for hours on end. But I mean, in terms of his statistics, the goals he's scored, the number of assists he's made, the effect he's had on Barcelona as a team, the titles he's won, he's pretty much unparalleled, really. His all-round game, he's not just a goal scorer. He can pass, he can run, he can assist. Most people think he could play any position in the team and be among the best players in the world, perhaps even goalkeeper. And for Barcelona, he's an icon. I mean, it's not just about him as a player on the world stage. I mean, he joined Barcelona when he was a 12-year-old boy. He came through La Masia, the academy there. He came up through the ranks, made his debut as a teenager, and he's gone on to captain the club and be one of the, well, certainly the club's best ever player. So this is the best player in the world, best player arguably in the history of the game, leaving the club that he joined as a boy and that he's become an idol, and that most people, to be honest, expected that he would see out and end his career at. He'd be a one-club player, which in football is extremely rare.
Yeah, I wanted to ask what the reaction has been like there in Spain.
Well, I mean, as you'd expect, I mean, in Barcelona, it's been pretty seismic, really. The fans are on the streets protesting, calling for the president, who Messi and a number of the Barcelona's leading players don't get along with, to resign. They want change. They don't want to see their best player leave the club, of course. I mean, this is not only something for now, but this could be a problem that affects Barcelona for years to come. We've seen other clubs lose icons like this. Look at Manchester United and Alex Ferguson, for example, when he left. They're still recovering, 10, 11 years later. So they don't want this to happen. They would much prefer the board to resign, for there to be elections coming up, and perhaps still to persuade Messi to stay. But it looks increasingly like that option looks particularly remote.
So if he does leave, will the €700 million transfer fee be upheld?
Well, this is the thing now. I mean, Messi's always had a buyout clause of €700 million, which most people thought would never be enacted. And to be honest, still, particularly in this current climate of the coronavirus crisis, when even the biggest football clubs in the world are very much affected financially, there's no team really that could afford that. He has this clause inserted into his contract, which says that he can leave in the summer of every season for free, which, to be honest, nobody ever thought would be activated. But now we're in a situation where he wants to activate that clause. The problem was that it expired at the end of May, on May the 31st. Now, Messi's lawyers are arguing that date wasn't so much a date, it was more the end of the season. Now, of course, this season has been extended into August, so they're saying that clause should still be active even now. This means that this is probably going to go to court. There'll be lots of legal wranglings over whether or not he can leave for free, whether or not he can't, and perhaps the upshot will be that his huge release clause of €700 million will be reduced, and that Barcelona will try and get a transfer fee, maybe 200, 300 million euros, maybe a bit less. We saw Cristiano Ronaldo go for 100 million a couple of years ago. And that would certainly help Barcelona financially, because the club is really struggling at the moment for money. But whether or not it'll help them on the pitch is another thing altogether.
What's the rumour? Will he go to Manchester City and be reunited with manager Pep Guardiola, who you mentioned earlier?
Well, that's the big question now. I mean, the question really is can Barcelona persuade him to stay? And if we're moving on from that, as it looks particularly increasingly unlikely they will be able to do that, is where does he go next? And I mean, there are 2 elements really. One is what clubs can offer Messi the ambition that he wants. I mean, he's looking for a finishing team, a team that can win the titles that he wants to in the last 2 or 3 years of his career. He's not looking for a club that's on their way up. He wants a team that's already there. The other side of it is he needs a club that can afford his wages, which are just at a base level about 60 million a year, pushing 100 million, all things considered. So there are only really 2 or 3 teams on the planet that can afford that. Paris Saint-Germain certainly one, Manchester City certainly another. Inter Milan have been mentioned because Messi's family have quite close links with the club in Italy. But apart from that, the likes of Liverpool and Bayern Munich, Chelsea, Manchester United, all those fans of those teams who are desperately hoping to see Messi in their colours, they might be disappointed.
Okay, Tom Allnut, good to talk to you. Thanks for joining us.